Throughout the history of the Detroit Pistons, you look at some of the players on these rosters, and it's some of the best defenders in the NBA history. As we go back to the late 80s and early 90s, we can look at a guy like Dennis Rodman. We can look at the Bill Lambiers. We can fast forward to the early 2000s, back when I was just a little boy in 2004, and you look at guys like Ben Wallace, and you look at Tayshaun Prince, and I cannot talk about Pistons defenders without bringing up Lindsey Hunter. He was very underrated because he was never really a starter in his NBA career, but he was so valued on the defensive side of the ball. So now we fast forward to the 2023-2024 NBA season, and it's been quite some while since the Detroit Pistons has had a legit defensive stopper and a legit defensive enforcer, and that changed in the 2023 NBA draft. With the 5th overall pick, we went with Ausar Thompson, and after watching him in the Overtime Elite League, and then watching him in the Summer League, watching him in the preseason, watching him in his first NBA game, I think he's going to be a future Defensive Player of the Year for the Detroit Pistons. And we look at his debut from last night, Ausar Thompson, he went out and made NBA history. Now his stat line following our heartbreaking loss to the Miami Heat, we lost 102-103, and that was a really good game. But back to Ausar Thompson and his stat line from that night, he went out and dropped 4 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and how he went out and made NBA history, he recorded 5 blocks in his first NBA game. Now those 5 blocks tied him for the 3rd most by a rookie in his debut in NBA history. So that's pretty cool. And then just watching Ausar Thompson, he really set the defensive tone for the Detroit Pistons at the beginning of the game. I believe within the first 2 minutes he got 3 blocks on the Miami Heat. One of them was on Bam Adebayo, and 2 of them were on Jimmy Butler. And these are 2 of the better offensive players in today's NBA, and guys that have a ton of experience. This is the Miami Heat, who's been to the NBA Finals in 2023 and 2020. So a very poised and a very experienced basketball team. So for Ausar Thompson to go out there and be able to have the impact defensively that he did, because he wasn't just blocking shots, but he guarded these guys individually as well. Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo. And I thought he did a really good job on Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero did not shoot well from the field at all in last night's game against the Detroit Pistons. But back to that contagious defensive energy. If you guys tuned in from that game, you can see once Ausar Thompson, he kind of set that tone, the Detroit Pistons, the entire team were playing smothering defense, and that's just something that we haven't seen in a very long time. And I think that's why this game was competitive as it was. When you look at some of the mistakes that the Detroit Pistons were making, they had so many turnovers. You just hear the commentators keep saying, if they didn't have these turnovers, this game would look completely different. But for them to have so many more turnovers than the Miami Heat and give up all those points off of turnovers, it just speaks to and they were able to stay in the game for as long as they did. It just speaks to the volume of how great they were playing defense in the half court, and I think all of that started from Ausar Thompson. And we look at some of these things that make Ausar Thompson such a great individual and a great team defender. The first thing I like to look at is his physical capabilities and his body frame. He stands at 6'8", 220 pounds, and he has a 7-foot wingspan. So right off the bat, his NBA body is made to be a great defender in this league. And then to add on top of that, he's very athletic, he's very strong, he's very quick, and we all know that he can jump out of the building. And what makes Ausar Thompson so special is that he has a great body. Pause on that. He has a great NBA body, and he has all the athleticism, but he does not make careless mistakes. And I know a lot of guys, when they have that athleticism that he possesses, they could be a bit over aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, gambling, giving up open threes or open cuts, or just are just fouling a lot. I was impressed by how much Asor Thompson did not foul. So I think those two things are those three things right there. The physical capabilities that he has, the body frame that he possesses, and then the mental aspect of it, the awareness and the cleverness to be an aggressive defender and stay out of foul trouble. I think that is very impressive by Asor Thompson. And then he actually just has great technique on the defensive side of the ball. He knows how to crowd his defender without fouling. He knows how to slide his feet. He's a threat in the low post, and even when he's not guarding the guy with the basketball in their hands, he's staying engaged when it comes to the passing lanes, rotating down, whether it's to protect the rim or rotating down to rebound the basketball. That's another thing I was impressed with by Asor Thompson. He finished the night, I believe he only played 26 minutes, but he finished the night with 7 rebounds and 5 blocks. So I think that we're going to be able to look forward to that for the rest of the season, and we're going to have a guy to depend on to guard the opposing team's best perimeter player and do a great job and make that player's night a little bit tougher, which is so important when you have guys like Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. So while I have you guys here, I would love to talk about some other things that happened in the Detroit Pistons debut game. And I think you guys already know the first player I'm running to is Cade Cunningham, because I was very, very impressed with what he did last night. And I was looking at last night's game as a game that we could get some really good insight on what type of season it would be individually for Cade Cunningham, and I think that's exactly what we got out of that Miami Heat game. Because we look at a team like the Miami Heat, they're really predicated on setting the tone on the defensive side of the ball. They have great team defense. They really love running that zone that's very hard for some teams to figure out, and then they also have some pretty good individual defenders on that team. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, those are two of the best one-on-one defenders in all of the NBA. So I was really intrigued to see how Cade Cunningham would attack this Miami Heat defense, and I thought he did a pretty great job. And I'm not coming on here saying that he had a perfect game. I think he did have some unforced turnovers, but other than that, I give Cade Cunningham an A+. He finished the night with 30 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, and he shot very efficiently. I know he went 13 of 27 from the field. I can't remember what it was from the three-point line, but I think it was over 50%. I want to say 3 for 5, but I could be wrong. But just watching that game from start to finish, one thing I really loved is that Cade Cunningham, like I said, playing against that Eric Spoelstra-led Miami Heat defense, not once did he ever seem uncomfortable, and not once did he ever seem rattled. And if you go back and look at all my Pistons videos, one thing I say about Cade Cunningham is that he has that rare ability, like Luka Doncic, like LeBron James, like Chris Paul, to control the game and go out and go at the pace that he wants to go to. If he wants to speed it up, he will speed it up, and then if he wants to pick you apart in the half court, he can do that. And I think that's exactly what we saw from Cade Cunningham offensively last night. He was able to get to his spots, he was able to run the pick and roll, and he was able to drop 30 points and 9 assists against a really good defense. So I thought Cade Cunningham was pretty impressive. The Detroit Pistons, they had a bunch of guys in double figures last night, but not really a steady second scoring option, a guy that could really make the Miami Heat not give all that attention to Cade Cunningham. And that's something we talk about all the time. Who's going to be that second guy that makes that the Detroit Pistons make respect? So we'll see what happens when Bogdanovich gets back. I think that will open things up a lot more on the offensive side of the ball. But some other guys on the Detroit Pistons really had some pretty cool individual performances, we look at Jalen Duren. He had 4 block shots, a double-double, 18 points, 14 rebounds. I thought he played really well. There was a few times he lost Kevin Love, but other than that, he played a really good ball game. Isaiah Stewart, he looked really comfortable out on the perimeter. He had 14 points and 14 rebounds, 2 or 3 from the three-point line. So that was pretty impressive. And then I don't know if you guys saw that play. Isaiah Stewart, he pump faked the defender, takes a sidestep, and then laces a three-pointer. So if he's going to be able to make shots like that, I think that's going to be big time for the Detroit Pistons. But 2 or 3 from the three-point line, we're really happy with that. And then other than that, not really too much I love, not too much I hate it. I really love the team defense though. Like, everyone really looked locked in on the defensive side of the ball. And like I said, the Pistons don't have those turnovers. They could potentially win that game by 8, maybe 8 or 9 points, because the Miami Heat, they really could not get anything going in the half court. But really love what I saw from Asor Thompson. He's going to be a great NBA defender. And then other than that, I really like the way the Pistons look, man. They were competitive against a team that just got all the way to the NBA Finals. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man. And that's curtains.